Right now, you might be sitting in a room full of people and still feel alone inside your own chest. You're leading. You are responsible. And pressure keeps telling you that you have to carry this all by yourself. Trust me, I know I have been there. But let me start with a line from Philemon 1:6 that hits leadership right where we live. Paul says, "I pray that your partnership with us in the faith may be effective in deepening your understanding of every good thing we share for the sake of Christ." Now, trust me when I tell you that is not church talk. That, my friends, is leadership talk. Because the moment pressure rises, most leaders drift. We drift into camps, we drift into comparisons, heck, we even drift into control. And to be honest with you, we do it so fast, we hardly notice. And here's what that drift looks like. You start looking for allies instead of listening for wisdom. You might even start telling your version of the story instead of pursuing the full truth. You start recruiting people to your side instead of calling people back to Jesus. And before long, you're not building unity, you're building factions. So let me ask you straight. When pressure hits, do you move towards people to strengthen the mission, or do you move towards people to protect your image? Well, Philemon 1:6 gives us a better way. Now, I didn't say an easy way, but a better way. It says partnership can be effective. It can actually do something. It can deepen understanding. It can reveal every good thing God has already placed among his people for the sake of Christ. And that means unity is not a vibe. Unity is a practice. Unity is a decision. Unity is witness. Let me make this real with a scene most leaders know too well. I've been there. I'm sure maybe you'll see this as well. Cash flow pressures. It's just what happens in business. You walk into an empty conference room late in the day and you close the door because, well, you need to be alone. You then open the numbers and listen, I get it. Payments are slow. Expenses are not. And you see payroll coming like a date you cannot miss. Your mind starts running scenarios, your jaw tightens, your chest feels tight, and you stare at the screen, then the spreadsheet, then the email thread that you don't want to send. And you tell yourself, I will handle this. And in the moment, that sounds strong, but it can be a massive trap because I will handle it often means I will isolate. And when leaders isolate, they drift towards control. I want you to think about that word because then control starts creating camps, and camps, well, that destroys unity in your culture, unity in your teams, maybe even unity in your family. So here is a question to sit with today. In your cash flow pressure, are you trying to protect the people you lead, or are you trying to protect yourself from looking weak? Again, I have been there. I am speaking from experience. I've done the thing that I'm warning you about right now. I have gotten defensive. Yes, I have sharpened my words, which I regret every time I do. And I have sent the message that sounded firm, but man, did it carry some heat. I've told the story to the person that I knew would agree with me, and I've called it processing when it was really recruiting. Now, that, my friends, is not leadership, or at least not good leadership, not spiritually based, faith-driven leadership. That is fear with a calendar. But Jesus does not leave us there. You see, Jesus, he calls us back. He gives us a new way to move forward. And Philemon 1:6, well, it points at this way. Partnership in the faith. Now, I'm talking about effective partnership, the kind that deepens understanding and changes how we treat people. Now, let's talk about the metaphor that we're going to use today. And I want us to lean into this idea of navigation, because leadership under pressure feels like low visibility. You can still move fast, but you might not be moving true. You can feel confident, but your heading can maybe be slightly off or extremely off. And you can think that you're protecting the mission while slowly drifting away from the heart of Christ. You see, in navigation, you do not trust panic. You do not trust ego. You do not trust the noise and nonsense of the world and what's around you. You see, what you do with navigation is you check your bearings, you verify your heading, and you invite another set of eyes, a copilot, to come along. You make small course corrections before drifting becomes damage. Woo! I'll let you brew on that one for a second. That is exactly what unity does in leadership. Unity keeps you on course. Unity keeps you as the leader honest. Unity keeps you connected to the mission and to the people, and most importantly, to Jesus. And this is where that anchor line matters from Philemon 1:6. Shared faith turns private pressure into practiced clarity. That's not a cute phrase. That is a leadership lifeline, because private pressure makes you spiral. And spiraling is never a good thing. And practiced clarity comes when you bring the pressure into the light with the right humans. Now, I'm not saying everybody. I said the right humans, the right people that you can trust and can be in that partnership. People who love Jesus more than they love your approval. People who can tell you the truth without tearing you down. And people who will pray with you and then help you take the next right step. Unity matters spiritually because it shows the world what Jesus is like. If we say Jesus reconciles people to God, but we can't stay reconciled to each other, doesn't our message get blurry? If we say Jesus is Lord, but our teams are divided by sarcasm, suspicion, and side conversations, our witness, doesn't it get weak? Unity matters practically because divided teams do not execute. They actually double work. They often delay decisions, and many times they interpret everything through mistrust. They waste emotional energy on politics. They spend more time managing relationships than moving the mission forward. Under pressure, you do not have margin for any of that. You see, as a leader, you need clarity. You need speed with wisdom, and maybe, just maybe, you need a little trust. You see, what you really need is people pulling in the same direction. So, what do? How do we choose unity when pressure pushes us towards camps, comparisons, and control? Let me give you a simple unity plan, not as a list, but as a way to move in the next 48 hours. First, name the drift. Name your drift. Say it out loud, at least to yourself and to God. I feel the pull to isolate. I feel the pull to control. Again, this is yours. I feel the pull to recruit allies. I feel the pull to compare and compete. What is yours? Name it, at least to yourself and God. You cannot correct a heading you will not admit is off. Second, what I want you to do is choose one person you trust and initiate partnership. Not 5. I did not say 5 people. I said 1. Choose one and initiate partnership. In the next 48 hours, send a message that says something like, I need 20 minutes. I'm under pressure and I want to respond like Jesus. Can you help me check my heading? That is a faith move. That is a baller leadership move. That is a great business move. Now, third, bring one real decision into that conversation. Not a vague feeling, not something that's surface level, a real decision. Listen, cash flow pressure gives you plenty to worry about. Do we delay an expense? Do we negotiate a contract? Your mind might be swirling right now with things that you're dealing with. Hey, do we even pause hiring if you're on a growth trajectory? Do we communicate sooner with the team or not? Do we talk to a client about the payment terms that they actually agreed to? And what does that do to the relationship? Do you have to bring the actual situation, bring the actual numbers to the table, bring the actual temptation? Fourth, practice unity with your words before you practice unity with your strategy. Unity begins in the tone of the message that you're delivering. Unity begins in the way that you speak about the humans that you're speaking about or that you're around. Unity begins when you, as a leader, refuse to label someone as the problem and instead pursue the truth with love. Unity begins when you stop building a camp and start building trust. So here is the question for you today. Who have you been talking to about the problem that you should be talking to with the person involved? Should I say that again for you? Who have you been talking to about the problem that you should be talking with the person involved? Here's another one. What is one sentence you need to clean up before you send it? Because it carries more heat than light. And here is the third thing that I want you to think about. If you were fully committed to unity in Christ, what conversation would you stop avoiding this week? Now, none of these are easy, but let's go ahead and go back to that conference room for a moment that we were sitting in and we had closed the door. You're staring at the numbers and you're feeling the tightness. You're tempted to shut down and you're tempted to maybe even get sharp. Heck, you're tempted to send the final word email that ends the discussion and also ends trust. But instead, as a good leader, you pause and you check your bearings and you choose today partnership. You text the person that you trust, you invite them in, and you do one courageous thing that changes the entire atmosphere. You tell the truth early. Not with panic. Nope. You tell the truth with clarity. You say to your leadership team, here's what we know. Here is what we do not know yet. And here is what we will do next. And here is what I need from you. Then you invite prayer right there, not as a religious closing, as a real act of dependence. And right then, right there, trust me when I tell you, something shifts. People, the humans around you, stop guessing. People will definitely stop whispering. They don't have anything to whisper about, and people will stop forming camps. The room that you're in, the building, the virtual environment, it gets lighter, and you as the leader can breathe again because unity creates space for wisdom to move. Now, let me push a little bit deeper here. We're doing good, but sometimes, just sometimes, the biggest threat to unity is not conflict. It's pride. Again, I only speak about things that I have dealt with. You see, there's this need to be right. There's this need for us as leaders to look strong. It's this refusal to be seen, but Jesus is not asking you to look strong as a leader. Heck, he's not asking you to look strong as a human. He's asking you to be faithful. And faithfulness looks like partnership. Faithfulness looks like humility. And faithfulness looks like words that build instead of words that wound. See, faithfulness looks like leaders who check their heading before they drift. Now, I want to speak hope over you today. You can change this pattern. You, as a human, as a leader, can grow. You can mature. We all can mature. I like to say 1% better each and every day. And you, my friend, can lead with peace and courage. And the joy is real because when you choose unity, you stop spreading your energy on control. You start spending your energy on obedience. You see, you stop managing your image and you start strengthening your people. You as the leader stop building camps and you start building a witness. If you take one step from this today, take this one. Do not wait until you drift to check your heading. So what did we cover? Philemon 1:6 reminds us that effective partnership in the faith deepens our understanding of the good things that we share for Christ. And under pressure, leaders drift toward camps, comparisons, and control. But Jesus calls us back to unity through our words, our mindsets, and our actions. In the next 48 hours, reach out to one trusted believer, bring one real decision into the light, pray, and take the one next right step together. And of course, make sure you visit spiritualsideofleadership.com for more resources and tools for faith-driven leaders just like you. And remember, stay blessed and be human.